Welcome to our soul traveling. No, what did we call it?
All secret stories.
Soul secret stories. They're
Stories.
Yes. So Shirley and I met when at a Celebrate event, and we just clicked and we realized that we had so many things in common, especially around traveling. And so we decided to do these stories about little topics on a weekly basis where we talk about our travel experiences. And we hope that, people enjoy, get a laugh, and, share some similarities perhaps. Now, we're not professional and they're really only our experiences. And so it's about having fun. So our first topic...
Exactly.
Yeah. Our first topic, we thought we'll talk about the time or the memory we have about when we decided that we wanted to travel. So I was born in Switzerland to a farming family. So my parents were farmers and I was the 12th child, number 12 out of 13. And my parents, they weren't big travelers. The story was told in our family that my parents traveled to Marseille from Switzerland for their wedding anniversary, and I don't think they ever owned a passport after that or traveled very far. No, actually, that's wrong. My mother did travel in later life, but not when I was little. There was just no time. There's too much work, too many children. But I remember sitting with my dad at a restaurant one day. My dad used to pick us up from school and he used to go and have a glass of wine at the restaurant where he met up with his buddies. And I remember sitting there with him. We used to get a glass of Rivella, which is a Swiss drink, fizzy drink, and some chips. And I was sitting there thinking that village life was too small for me. And I dreamt about traveling. And so when my brothers went traveling, I was probably about 15, 16. I had two older brothers who started to travel around the world. And when they came back from their travels, I could not get enough of their stories. And I just knew then that I wanted to travel as well. And so a decision, I remember making that decision that I would not stay in the village. I was just not born to stay in a village, which in Switzerland, a lot of people did. They were born in a village and they stayed. They were born there, they lived there, raised their children, and they died there. And I just knew that wasn't going to be for me. I admired the village people who did that because it's those people who keep traditions, stories, and village life. And I do enjoy villages that have that tradition, that history, but I'm not the one who gives that or lives that. And so it's just an interesting story. How about you, Shirley?
Yeah, you have a similar history. My grandmother had 13 kids as well. And now you talk about numbers, and
Really?
my dad was this. Yeah.
That's so funny.
My dad was the second one, and I born in a small island in South Brazil, and you were called the native. My dad was a native, my mommy was, and myself as well. And it was a small island, and I walked with my dad or driving by car one point another, and didn't took too many hours. And I born with some problems in my eyes, and I starting traveling to another stage to see doctors because the island was small. You didn't have this kind of doctors. And when I travel with my aunt, I felt, oh my God, you can go another places. And I arrived there, I saw train, I saw botanic garden. I was like fascinated. I had 6 years old and said, oh my God, there is much to see than just my island. And like you said, the island keep the culture because the island is not like which island. People that uma that's born in my island, they have a special gifts. They can healing, they can see stuff, they have the mediunity really high. But I didn't feel that I want to stay in the island. And when like I started doing these little trips with family, I felt that I have too much to see. And I felt that I need to cross these oceans and see more and more. Then we started this feeling that I would like to travel in my life.
Isn't that funny? And how young we are when we know that, you know, we're not born for, I guess, the life we're born into, but that we are different.
Yeah. I built a life in my island, but soon no, I took time. But when I took this time, I decided that I can't stop to travel.
Yeah. So thanks for sharing a little bit about yourself. And I think it's so funny when you start talking how many similarities there are. Because coming from a family of 13 is quite rare. People used to really, you know, find that unbelievable.
Yeah.
And it's funny that your grandmother also had 13 children.
And how many brothers and sisters? Because my grandmother had just 2 boys, my dad and my uncle, and 11 women. And in your family, how was?
Wow, that's amazing. So we had 9 boys and 4 girls.
Yeah. It was funny. I was surrounded by a lot of women, Machado, né? They are really strong personality, and I learned a lot with them because my grandmother was at home. She was a teacher, and she didn't stop to teach when she had kids. She stayed at home for a while, and someone look after their kids. And I found so like open mind of her in that time that she had my father to go to work, you don't know?
Totally. Yeah, totally. Yeah. So we'll keep these stories really short so people can just listen to them
Sorry.
on the bus or on the train. And our next topic will be around our first travel adventure.